Hey guys, Leah FX Model Miniatures back again. Just doing a little short video about a little build that always interested me. I just found the sort of history or story behind them really cool. You know, the way that they differed so much from what we'd originally seen in the original 77 movie. But yeah, Death Star turrets. Now these two here are actually Return of the Jedi turrets, which I'm guessing many people that know about them may call them the mid-sized turret. It's considerably smaller than the 77 turret model. Actually, it's quite a lot smaller than the original 77 model. There were actually some smaller turret models made, turrets and towers, that also had barrels and some small functionality as well via stepper motors. And then there were even some really tiny, kind of pinky finger size objects made for various surfaces of the Death Star 2. The Death Star 2 surface has always interested me. I've always liked the use of colour in it. Kind of took me back to my childhood playing Sega Star Wars trilogy, just the bursts of colour on the screen, and the reds and the greys, and yeah, just really cool. Yeah, but these, as I said, are Jedi turrets, and I get my hand in there, you can see they're not very big, and they're quite different to the New Hope models. But in terms of detailing, again, completely different animals. And if I just move that one to the side there, and I'll bring this one further in. Yeah, this came about by way of 3D printing, actually. This is what collaboration does. Now, quite some years ago, we had a little private group we used to frequent in relation to studio models and research. Unfortunately, the group imploded, sadly due to a lot of ego, and yeah, there's always a lot of ego and mistrust in this hobby, unfortunately. Very strange, but anyway, yeah, parts research, that all came about from some really good collaboration between myself, Marvin Steifelhagen, Niels Fredriksson, a few other guys, can't remember. But yeah, we got some images once again from propstore.com. Some of these are, quite a few of these actually have been sold over the years in various guises and conditions. But the images gave us a really good indication of the donor parts used. Now, on this particular turret, it's actually very simple on donors. I mean, we've got familiar, Tamiya Gepard pieces here. All those are Tamiya Gepard. Very, very, very staple donor kit for so many, I think, ESB and ROTJ builds. More Gepard here, some more Gepard there. Yeah, all pretty staple fodder all around the main body of the gun, of the turret, should I say. If I take that off, see on top of there, you've got some 1350 Tamiya Bismarck making an appearance. Those two pieces here, and then some Tamiya, I believe they were Mobile Wagon track, which bonds down the channels there to form that gear pattern. And then here, these were a good find. I can't remember who, it might have been myself, but to be honest, you know, it doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, these parts here, these were found. They're actually from the Tamiya Kawasaki Z1300. Quite an expensive kit. It's a big 1/6 scale motorcycle, but they're actually the carburetors from that model. And then underneath here, we've got some KFZ 223, you know, whichever variant you've got. And that was these things about ID'd, or pretty close as. But like I said, that group imploded, and these were kind of forgotten. And I decided to resume them, just get rolling on them again, and with the help of Marvin Stofelhagen, we got back to having a look at the dimensions. That cannon's not been bonded in, as you can see, they're nicely removable. But yeah, with the help of Marvin, we got to IDing these again, and just measuring it up for a build. Obviously, dimensions were you know, tricky to initially glean, so we got to just measuring them up. Once we had the measurements, which you know, between us from the donor parts, well, we did a great job of modelling them up in 3D, just basically to get the main body done initially. Once the main body was done, Marvin had the 3D print here. Now this is actually a 3D print. This main body is a 3D print, but all the donor parts are my own applied donors. I cast all these pieces myself and then applied them. Yeah, so it was as, you know, as clean as I could get it. There's a few print lines, but nothing major. Yeah, so we had that. We had, you know, we had the main basis of the body. We had the main basis of the barrels done. As you can see, this one has got hollow barrels. I just did these from brass. Whereas on this one, this is actually a casting. This is a resin casting that was assembled by Marvin, and he applied all the donors to this one. And this one was actually cast by again by Ed Francais, who did an impeccable job of casting this thing. I mean, it's really quite a complicated mold, not by way of, you know, just its basic shape, just by way of detail. There is such a lot for air bubbles to get trapped in there, and Ed did a fantastic job of putting these into resin. But yeah, we had the main basis of these, but we had to then find two missing donor parts on top of these carburetor parts here. No clue what they were from. I spent quite some time looking, you know, to no avail. And then I found them by accident. I was looking for donors for another build. I can't recall what. And I was going through some sprues of the Ferrari 312 T4, the Tamiya 112 kit, and they were in there. You know, as soon as I saw them on the sprue, I thought, oh wow, these are the parts we're looking for. And that was the turret. It's all ID'd. You know, I was super chuffed. You know, happy to get the whole thing all in one piece. So yeah, we started putting them together. They were just simply base coated. I think this is yeah, it was Archivex. It's a DS tile grey. Guy actually matched this grey, I believe, to a New Hope Deathstar tile. So the grey itself it's a very accurate, nice grey. And then the barrels were just, I think, that SP Dart Lark, just a very, you know, simple paint job. But as you can see on this tower, what I'll do, I'll flip round to portrait so you can have a look at them in the entirety. But this tower here, that's only been base coated. I'm still yet to finish the paint on this. And what I'll do is, if I flip around now, I'll show you what I mean. Okay guys, you can kind of see the towers in their entirety now. And yeah, as I was saying, this one is just still in base coat. I'm yet to finish the paint job on this. So I just need to start masking up the panels. But as you can see on this one, this being a complete tower, this was actually made in laser cut acrylic. But this one here, which is the first one I actually built, is just a scratch built affair to my own dims. That was made in just sheet styrene and plastruct strip stock to just create the very in progress construction of the tower. And then it's just a case of I think it was DH Caboose red I used on the framework, which pops in the camera. It's really nice to the eye. It's really a lovely colour. Seems to match up with the structures of the DS2. But yeah, coming back to this paintwork here, this very simplistic, very simplistic. For a New Hope surface detail was crazy detailed. They had all sorts going on, and it was all very, for me, really elaborately built to achieve it. Whereas with Return of the Jedi, it was still very elaborate, a lot more delicate, I feel, but a much more simplistic approach on achieving it. You know, whereas some of these towers were actually scribed and detailed and resin cast, but then there were lots of these things, lots with all this airbrush panel work, but lots of marker pen application, all sorts of architectural pens, and some of them really thick Sharpie pens. If you look at a few of these structures that still exist today that are in people's collections, I mean, some of them, they've only got actually two sides. They didn't actually complete a full tower. You know, it was a very simplistic approach for a camera flyby, and just to get the amazing shots that they did with the structures of the Death Star 2. And I've always loved the fragility and those red scaffolds, and yeah, just so much going on. I mean, there's even as I said about the Japanese Chronicles book, that's got some great reference in there of some of the surfaces. There are even some crane builds which I would like to attempt at some point. One of the crane structures they built, which just super detail, you know, just awesome. Here is actually one of the smaller turrets. This is actually one of the smaller ones I built. Very accurate turret wise. I mean, the turret, yeah, dimensions wise, I got that pretty good. There's some Hanomag parts on the actual turret body, and then some Tamiya, I think it was Tamiya KFZ 222 for the barrels, and some flak AH52. That all worked out nicely there. Some nice finds. And then this stuff here, you see, just you can see the tracks there. Those tracks are what I was talking about the other day on the Imperial shuttle, used for the gear details on the shuttle. I'd actually bought this board and batten sheet with this project in mind, so it came in really handy. But yeah, this is just a casting of one of my turrets I took. I made a master and I made a casting, and then just for fun I just scratch built a smaller structure under it as a tower. It's just, again, just simple styrene and plastruct rod, square rod construction. Smaller towers like this did and still exist, but I think predominantly the smaller towers were actually made up of the photo etch used on the structures of the DS2 prop. Again, Prop Store have sold these over time, and they're fantastic. But obviously, you know, I can't get my hands on. There's no way I'll get my hands on the original photo etch. So I just did this for just a little bit of fun. Initially, I was going to do a 4x2 DS2 structure piece, mainly for conventions and stuff, just to put on display with a load of turrets and tiles and all sorts on it. But I couldn't make it in a way that it was going to be easily transportable. Even breaking it down, it was just so fragile. So I binned that idea and just decided to build some turrets. I still want to build some more. These larger turrets here, there is another barrel variant, which is a lot closer to the A New Hope design in the actual gun barrels. It's a lot more elaborate than these just being rod and you know, just essentially just one main kit part. These are a much more elaborate design that I think was turned on a lathe. I may look at those in time. Yeah, I mean, I've got all the IDs. I just need to fabricate the barrels, really. Yeah, that pretty much covers these little things. They're you know, they were really fun to do. Do plan to do some more. Maybe of this ilk. There are a few of these that actually exist in private collections and, you know, being gifted to people. I did actually have a few, but I actually gifted a few out to people. I cast them and gave them away painted. But I would like to do some more of these for myself, just so I've got a decent spread of turrets just to do some form of display, I suppose. But yeah, they were a lot of fun to create. It really is one of my, you know, it's a little favourite part of Jedi for me. You know, these different turrets that, you know, when I first saw them on Prop Store, yeah, I was really taken with them. You know, they're very simple. They're not as elaborate and as pretty as the A New Hope model, being much larger. But yeah, they were just a lot of fun to create, and you know, they look really cool on display. So yeah, I'm hoping I can build some more and get them to a convention at some point. You know, as a big bulk of turrets and maybe some other more portable detail. You know, just to give a sense of the Return of the Jedi surfaces, which are, yeah, again, I just find them really interesting. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and yeah, just another random cool vid of, you know, some silly model bits that I've been doing. But thanks for watching, and see you soon.